This is an expressive practice sample. You have been asked to render a message for a deaf student in a hearing classroom. The student's history class will be beginning their lessons on the branches of government. You will have a 1-minute warm-up, followed by a 1-minute break. After the break, you will begin interpreting or transliterating. The warm-up will begin momentarily. All right, everyone, this is your last and final reminder that we will begin our presidential presentations on Thursday. So if you haven't already gotten started, I would recommend that you get on that. Don't forget that we will be going in order of when they served. So Jessica, since you picked Washington, you'll go first, and we will just get through as many as we can every day until we finish. All the details about what should be included in your presentation are outlined in your rubric. If you lost your rubric, there are extra copies on the counter by the door. You can always grab one on your way out. All right, let's jump into today's topic, the branches of government. Exciting, right? Who knows how many branches of government the United States has? Go ahead and shout them out. Okay, I'm hearing 3 and I'm hearing 4. So let's go ahead and give me the names of the branches. So yes, the president is one branch. Do we know the name of the president's branch of government? Yes, the executive branch. Okay, what else? The Supreme Court. Yes, what branch are they? The judicial branch. Yes, okay, and what else? This one is where I think we're getting confused between 3 and 4 branches. So what else is left? Okay, I'm hearing the House of Representatives, and we're missing one more part. Anyone know what it is? Yes, the Senate. So the Senate and the House of Representatives, also frequently shortened to just the House, are actually 2 parts of one branch called the legislative branch. We'll get into more details about why there's 2 of them in a bit. Okay, when people talk about the Senate and the House together, that is called Congress. The legislative branch is Congress. So let's get into where these branches come from. As the US was setting itself up, a big goal the founders had was to not have a system that could result in a Britain-like government, right? They didn't want their government to look just like the one they fought a whole war to get away from. So it was important for the Constitution to clearly lay out a system where no one branch could too easily overpower another branch. Each branch has a different purpose. The executive branch, which includes the president, vice president, the president's cabinet, and some different federal agencies. Their job is to carry out the laws. They execute the laws. The judicial branch, which includes the Supreme Court, but also all the different lower federal courts, their job is to evaluate laws. Do the laws fall in line with what the Constitution established? And the legislative branch, that's the Congress, writes the laws. Senators and representatives are elected to write laws in the best interest of the people they are representing. Now, have any of you heard of the term checks and balances? All right, Julia, summarize checks and balances for me. Yep, you're not far off. Good job. So, in case you couldn't hear Julia, she said that checks and balances is the system allowing the branches to respond to each other's actions. So, what do checks and balances look like? Checks and balances is the system that allows the different branches to keep each other from getting too powerful. Does anyone know any examples of checks and balances? Did someone say the president is the only one allowed to start a war? Well, save that for when we get into all the different powers of the different branches. For now, we're focusing on how they interact with each other, okay? So let's go in order. Let's start with the executive branch, the president. Does anyone know something that the president does to interact with the Supreme Court? This is a more rare one. So the president is in charge of nominating people to the Supreme Court. So whenever there's a vacancy, when a Supreme Court justice retires or dies, the president is in charge of nominating a new justice. Okay? And how does the president interact with Congress, the legislative branch? How many of you have heard the word veto before? So basically, whenever Congress writes a law, it goes to the president's desk. The president then decides whether or not to sign it. If the president decides not to sign the bill, that is called a veto. So the president has the power to veto bills. That is how the executive branch can check the legislative branch. So how does the judicial branch check the other two branches? Let's start with the president, the executive branch. How does the Supreme Court check the president? Well, the judicial branch checks the other two in basically the same way. They can say a law from Congress or an action by the president is unconstitutional. Their job is to see if the other two branches are following the Constitution.